Welcome to Overwatch, and welcome to another episode of Coaching the Many. This time we're going to be talking about Lucio and Zenyatta. We're going to be focusing on stuff like engagements, positioning. I'm actually going to start off by finding and reading the email for the guy who said it, who sent this in, which is a sub. Hello, Popper Thingy.
Hello, YouTube.
I'm sure YouTube is going to say hello back. Say hello back, YouTube, even if you're just watching this. If you've got friends around you, or you're on a train and you're watching this, just wave at the screen or something. I don't know. But the person who sent this in is xtab x. I don't know. He's got a weird name. But this is this lad. And yeah. He sent this email, which is actually a really nice email, even though he forgot the link the first time he sent it in. It was bad, man. I played a lot of Lucio and solo queue for a while. I became pretty aggressive just to try more to win. I'd like to continue to be aggressive, but I think I need to learn to tone it back, some particularly because I'm with a team now, and just because people are getting better, and we've climbed a lot recently. Also this season, I've played more Zenyatta, so I could probably use some help playing him better. This game was, spoiler, with 4 members, including myself, on the Patchy Party team, which is one of the teams that sort of hangs around Scrim Central. And a sub and someone who was randomly picked up from early in the day. I feel like we should have, spoiler, but I'm not entirely sure why we didn't. I love it if you review this game. And I watched this, and there's a lot of like really good stuff. And someone, Undertaker Dan's actually spotted something that I want to highlight as well very early. It's very rare that I will encourage people to go into profiles and look at people's profiles and see what they play and what they do. I honestly don't find that too useful. I just play what you're going to play and then play it as well as you can. Basically, just in single instances of games. Actually, let me do this rant now because it's actually worth doing because this is actually kind of important. Okay. In the single instance of a game, you will have a higher chance to win if you went through everyone's profile and you go, hey guys, hey, you are you have 300 hours on Reinhardt and a 70% win rate. You should probably play Reinhardt, although maybe not in this meta. Or Winston, it's Winston main for some deranged reason. Thank you, Delfano, by the way, for the 4 months. Beautiful. And he's got tons of hours on Winston, a really good win rate. He should probably play Winston. And in that individual game, sure, that will probably give you the highest chance to win, to try and do that for everyone. But in the long term, it's a good way to just pigeonhole yourself into a single role and to end up just being completely one trick, and then the meta shifts and you're completely fucking useless. So in my mind, it's just a lot better to just pick a hero, play that hero, play it as well as you can. If you lose, you lose. If you aren't good enough in that hero, you'll lose. Whatever. Move on to the next game. Keep building, and develop your skills. The only exception I find is when someone is obviously named like Junkrat here, and you want to check them before you are done picking your heroes and when you're thinking about your team comp. Because if they're called Junkrat and then you check the profile and they have 1,000,000 hours on Junkrat, chances are you're going to be playing against a Junkrat. And this is better for you in terms of looking at the enemy team and going, okay, they're going to have a Junkrat. How do we beat that? Well, if you watched yesterday, then you'll know that I spent about 5 minutes saying, hey guys, D.Va is actually a hard counter to Junkrat. Spoiler alert, Junkrat plays Junkrat. Let's get the show on the road. Boom. My Twitch chat. You can see it's also pretty much spot on the median. Almost a 2.5k on both sides, 6 stacks on both sides as well, so I can be very nitpicky with how the team functions and how the team is put together. Even though only 4 of these people are regulars on this team, I could still be very nitpicky about how you guys are going to play and how you guys are going to do things. The enemy team should also have that extra level of coordination, so you should be playing, accordingly, basically. Otherwise, they're just picking out the team. This is 3 supports, which is a problem. This is too much healing. So let's just skip forward until they sort themselves out. Looks like we have a team lineup. We have a Pharmacy. We have a Reinhardt. Very old school. We have Soldier, Lucio, Mercy. Well, I mentioned the Mercy already. And a Zarya. So in current meta, this is a relatively old-fashioned comp. Reinhardt's definitely not in fashion at the moment. You generally see more Winstons just because Winston's more mobile. He's more aggressive. He's less likely to just get completely surrounded and annihilated. Sometimes Reinhardt can have his uses, sometimes Reinhardt can do good things, but quite often, teams will more opt for the Winston. But, okay, it's 2.5k, meta isn't the super hardcore thing you've got to stick to. If you have a person who can play Reinhardt way better than can play Winston, sure, you can run with the Reinhardt. Good checking of the first trap, poor job of the Reinhardt just to protect the door. So this is kind of important to mention, especially if you have a Zarya as well, So you can see, you know, you saw on the loading screen, hey, there's a guy called Junkrat. If we check that and then you see it in the door, like this is actually free stuff for Zarya as well. Like the Zarya should be the person leading out here and just scooping up, you know, 80 charge the moment you get to the first choke point. Otherwise, want to be speeding in. And if you aren't going to speed out of the door, which is completely viable. Also, thank you, by the way, Love, right back at you, Audacious Al. If you don't use your speed boost, or you don't use your amp it up when you're sort of getting to the first choke, and honestly, I prefer this, like using it when you're coming out. Oh god, that's a donation. I need to open up a thing. Thank you, Undertaker Dan. And Zeta as well. Jesus. It's appreciated, man. And I do feel better today as well. It was just nice to get everything off my chest. See, it's being spammed now. Undertaker Dan as well. The Lucio hype is real.
My Lucio hype is real.
So let's finish this point. So if you're not going to use the speed boost, you're not going to use amp it up as you come out the gates. What you are looking to do is when you hit this, you should be, you know, we should be communicating with the team saying, okay, guys, when we get to the choke, I'm going to speed boost us and we're going to go in. And while the screen is nice and orange, I'm going to pick blue because it'll stand out a bit. Let's quickly schematic out King's Row. So we've got like the choke point here. This is the choke. So this is like what we're looking at here. You've got the statue and you've got like the hotel over here, right? And then you got the point, this sort of area up here. Okay, so when you're pushing into King's Row, you have a choice. You can either go like straight through and go straight for the point, which is super aggro. Usually doesn't work because you just basically you're basically moving from one choke to another choke, and there's like a wall over here as well, I guess. Okay. What you usually see teams do is you'll move here and you'll get position around the back of this. So that way you are now fighting using 2 choke points. You've basically converted this one choke into 2 chokes, like with this, and then this, and this. You have these 2 options you can sort of play around. You've got a nice safe little alcove. You have a health pack here if you really can push forward, and you have a better angle onto the point. This isn't fully accurate, but it's accurate enough. And so the worst thing you can do, in my mind, is just do what kind of Sparks ended up doing here, which is you move forward and then you just stop here for no real reason. You shouldn't stop here for any real length of time, because all you're doing here is collecting damage onto your Reinhardt barrier. People aren't moving forward. The Reinhardt actually needs to move about here, just like step forward a little bit, and then block any damage coming through while his team moves into position using the statue as cover, because the Reinhardt barrier will break, the statue will not. There's no destructible environments in Overwatch, so the statue acts as your shield. Basically, then Reinhardt can tuck back in, and then everyone can sort of heal up. You have a little bit of a moment just to collect yourselves again, and then you can make a decision. Do you even want to go all the way to the high ground? If you have Soldier 76, for example, that can work really nicely. Do you want to just push forward this way, or do you want to push forward this way? Like, you have all these options available to you. Well, if you just stood here, sitting ducks. So I was, you know, when I was watching this, it's a case of like, okay, I don't like the fact that he stopped, and I don't like the fact that we have speed boost available, but we're not using it on the push while we're sort of getting ready. It does end up working out, although a lot of people are injured. Those people should be running towards where the supports are, and we do just start muscling forward onto point. Now, this is something I noticed, and this is sort of a habit that I noticed, which is if we are going to play Lucio aggressively, which is perfectly fine. So we're sort of playing support Lucio right now. Honestly, we shouldn't be on heal aura. People don't desperately need healing. We've got the Reinhardt barrier in the sort of main area, and honestly, what we're looking to do right now is we got a good pick. We got a good kill on the Reinhardt, which is lovely. But what we should be doing is looking to try and get onto the point as quickly as possible, right? We don't want to be staying in this choke point. We want to get onto the point so we can start capping it, forcing the enemy team into another position, and we can start capitalizing on the advantage. We can maybe get some kills on the enemies that are around this corner. So this is where we need to be swapping to speed, and especially if we are going to do something like this motion here, where we can see, hey, there's a Mercy left out on her own, she's vulnerable, we want to go kill that. We should be in speed, basically. We should be in speed mode while doing this movement. It makes it easier for us to get into the Mercy when we're now way more effective because we're on close range. Makes it easier for our team to get in position. Makes it easier for everyone just going forward. Where's that McCrea? He's behind us. He's doing nothing. And now we just have a little bit of moment. And we can just chill out and heal on the point. It feels pretty good, man. Payload starts rolling. This is where you usually want to split your team up a little bit. If you can capitalize and get a couple more kills on the exit, then you should. Generally, I recommend, especially in like ranked, 1 support should go forward, 2 DPS should go forward, or if we've got like a diva, then maybe the diva can go forward. The rest should just stay on the payload. So the idea here is more to try and get a couple of niche kills. So we spotted, hey, there's a Hanzo to that side. Looks like we might be communicating that to the team, which is good. Bit of a wasted res, to be honest. We didn't really need that fully. And we should... Actually, we're okay on healing at the moment. We're not really super hard engaging. We're just sort of whittling stuff down. Now's when we need to be a little bit scared. And honestly, this is where we probably should be swapping to speed. Why should we be swapping to speed? Because this, and because, like... If you could think about, like, what's the enemy team looking to do? What are they going to try and do? Well, they want to fight around this corner, right? They want to fight around the corner. It's standard King's Row. So you usually expect the first fight around or about the corner. The enemy team is waiting for some kind of advantage. We use Resurrect, so there's no advantage now. Currently, Reinhardt's pushing forward. Reinhardt has low barrier. Slowly going forward. I think Sparks here points out, hey, we have Earthshatter. If you have an ultimate and there's a mirror on the enemy team, you should, like, unless you have a major, like, unless you completely crush them, which we kind of didn't. It wasn't too bad on the first point take, but it wasn't a complete shit stomp. So there's a chance that they have Earthshatter. And then when the Reinhardt dies, like, this fight, pushing in directly, this is now danger, right? And so we can't really afford to stay here and keep fighting this. Because if we just, like, imagine if there were no ultimates or no anything, and you were just, instead of actual human beings, just robots, just bots, standing still, shooting at each other, red team would win every single time here, right? Because they have a barrier, they have a diva, you don't have a barrier, you have a Zarya, who's already used her bubble. So there's no way that this fight ends up being a win, you know? It's bad news bears. And so as such as the Lucio, it should be in your head of, okay, Reinhardt's dead, we need to reposition. How do we reposition? Well, we do it quickly by using speed boost. We speed boost back, pull the team back, feels pretty good. We can avoid getting killed by this. And honestly, we should still be speeding out. Like, this to me is like a lost fight. But luckily the enemy team seems to fuck up a bit. I guess they don't have a good kill confirmation with the Junkrat, maybe. Kappa. Wouldn't res be nice here? Just FYI. Rather than resting the single soldier 76, you could sprint back while the payload isn't even in a point where it needs to be contested. Just mentioning, just saying, you know, just saying. Otherwise, we're going to keep advancing forward. Now we're back together. We have sound barrier, notably on left shift, with an interesting hotkey for it. And we should be getting ready for a push. Like, to me, if you want to sort of structure this push in your head, we need to heal this Reinhardt, which is what Mercy's on. And then when this Reinhardt is fully healed, and then we can start pushing forward. We have Earthshatter, they don't. If we can speed boost in, we should do it. Team spots out the McCree. Apricot's here, shouts it out. This is actually perfect. McCree's completely out of position. Like, this is another instance where... let me just play the comms for you guys, and then point out the signal. Let's push the McCree, he's on his own. This should be a signal for you to go into speed boost. Like, you want to do this as quickly as possible because it denies the enemy team a chance to do anything. And it just, like, the McCree can deal with one thing jumping in. Like, this is the weakness of McCree. McCree can handle something happening. One thing jumps in, he flashes it, he fans it, it dies. Okay, fair enough. If three things jump McCree, he flashes, he fans, he might get one, but then the other two just kill him. And he might not even get the full combo up. So just speeding into this would have just worked a tiny bit better, and it's sort of like a signal to me that, hey, we just need to be switching, we need to be using this crossfade a little bit more aggressively. This was goddamn adorable. I didn't even know you could go over that, but apparently you can, and we might get back on the point and land right into a Junkrat trap, which feels pretty bad, man. Hanzo misses a headshot, and we go down. Okay. So in this instance, like, it's a good Hanzo ult by their team. To be commended. Like, they notice that everyone's caught back here. This is where we should still be on speed, and we should probably just be amping it up just to get out of this tight little choke point as fast as possible. Like, the fact that we're still on heal is a little bit strange to me. We go up, we go over, and then we land right in a Junkrat trap. Feels bad. Now we should just be staying on heal and praying. Feels pretty bad, man. We do call out, the Hanzo's behind us on top, which is nice. Junkrat somehow gets a kill. Mercy with the big fat res. Feels real nice. We step in another Junkrat trap. Actually, well, let me just find... There we go. It's literally in my search history. One of my favorite GIFs. History of Mankind. Okay, this isn't the full GIF. This is the full GIF. Oh, baby. That'll do. Like, this is kind of probably how we're feeling right now. which, you know, I can sympathize. Yeah. So the res was good. The re-engage could use work. And honestly, this might be an instance where you would be... let's actually check this. This is where we want to be thinking about sound barrier. So, you know, we get stunned, we die, fair enough. Resurrects are actually a really good opportunity to get a really powerful re-engage. You want to hold off for a moment or two just to get the lay of the land and see how it goes. So I'm fine with us supporting the Mercy. Like, we're actually peeling for the Mercy here because we're basically stopping the D.Va killing her. We're fine not using sound barrier here, I think. Yeah. I'd also say that I think we reload animation, like, stick ourselves here. Be very careful about cancelling your animations doing stuff like this. So, like, we start punching, but we're starting punching when she's, like, on 50% hit points. You know, she has 3 bars. Each bar is 25. Yes. Each bar is 25, so he has more than 75 hit points. We're not going to punch that to death in any kind of quick time. You might as well complete the reload and just go for the kill normally. It is something you have to be careful with on Lucio because while you're reloading or when you're out of ammo, you can't right-click either, and you want that burst available to you. Again, trap magnet, damn straight he is. Otherwise, we're doing okay. We should be thinking about the sound barrier, just playing careful, playing towards the back of the team. This is one thing I noticed, and this is sort of going to come back to haunt us. So, Deadeye comes in from behind. So if I turn up the volume, you can hear it nice and clearly. So I don't know if you guys have good headsets, but you can hear High Noon's gone off, and it sounds like it's coming from this way. So we do the wise thing of hiding behind here. But what we should also be doing is looking to get value out of the boop. And we don't do that. Like, there's literally a D.Va stopping this point cap, and the point cap is so close that the boop could actually be enough to just roll it in. This is important to do, and you'll see it much later as well. Use boop to clear the points, just so it can keep inching forward. And even if you don't get it this time, like, you know, D.Va manages to get back in time or something like that, you will probably be able to do another boop and just roll it forward. Even if they're trying to contest it, you'll be able to clear the point a little bit. It's important to do this, and it will come back to haunt us later. So, setting it up now.
I got just below the barrier before you could...
I know we want to be safe, but we also want to do stuff like this. D.Va is literally the only thing contesting the point right now. Junkrat's come back onto it. He's not going to last long, but we want to just boop this. And then we cap it. Because D.Va actually just, like, willingly leaves the point for no clear reason. They use Tank Visor. Or we use Tank Visor, I guess. Honestly, I don't like the fact that our team's using ults here. Their team's fine using ults. Whatever, we don't care. We're going to respawn literally right here. Like, we're just 2 seconds away, so we're fine not using anything. And so we could just start rolling forward.
You have my thanks.
You can't boop D.Va with a defense matrix. I'm pretty confident you can. I'm very, very confident you can boop D.Va with defense matrix up. It's like Nibelung says, it's not a projectile, it's just an AoE. It will work. You can knock her back. This is not a good sound barrier. And no, we're scared. Like, we see the hammer down come in. Zarya's super low, but honestly, Zarya's in cover. And their team isn't really pushing hard at the moment. Kablui's just a dead man anyway. And the question we should be asking is, like, do we have a good engage here? Enemy team uses res. They managed to get in. Our Reinhardt is a god. But you notice, I don't think the sound barrier did much of anything. Like, let me go back and confirm that. But I'll be very surprised if we actually get, like, a huge amount of value. It might keep the Pharah alive. But Mercy's also pocketing the Pharah. So they would have rezzed anyway at this point, maybe. Like, the res by them is also so-so. And then we sort of throw a shitload of ults into it and get a bunch of kills. But we used a lot for that. So right now, team should be looking to regroup. And this is kind of the unfortunate side of this sound barrier. Like, the hard part about sound barrier is this, and I can totally sympathize, and this is why sound barrier, like, bad sound barriers can happen, is you've got to use it reactively, quite often, especially, like, at certain times you want to use it reactively, but you have to really be assessing the fight. Are people engaging here? Are people disengaging? Are their team engaging hard and actually going aggro on us? Like, can we actually save the people we're sound burying? Are we going to do anything with the barrier after they're done doing stuff? All this stuff factors into it, so it's very, very difficult to sort of make a super clean call. We spotted out that they have a bastion. Am I on highest quality? I think I am. Yeah. I spotted out that they've got a desperation bastion. Lucio's actually okay at sort of doing damage to bastions. Warp to speed. This is where, like, A, we shouldn't be trying to climb a wall here. That's just a bad idea. Because Reinhardt's going to be moving to block this. So, like, we shouldn't be looking at a wall. What we should be looking at is two things. We should take a look, so turn quickly, see where Reinhardt's standing or what Reinhardt's doing. And then we should be looking at where the enemy team's positioning. We shouldn't be looking at a wall. It's not doing us any favors. So we should be looking where the Diva Bomb's going, where Reinhardt is positioning accordingly. Do we have to worry about the bomb itself, or is Reinhardt going to cover us? How do we position around that? Looks like Reinhardt was going to cover us, which is going to be okay. But we're not paying attention to where the enemy team is, so we end up just running forward and we like nuzzle this wall and then we die. Whereas if we were watching where the Reinhardt is, for example, we could have just stopped here maybe. And even though it's cracked, we'll probably get away. I don't think it would be cracked before the bomb went off, so we should be okay. Just quickly from the chat, is sound barrier a good way to go when the team is starting an attack? Yes. Like, right as you're engaging, yes. It's perfectly fine. It's a good initiation. It's actually something you could be looking, like you should be looking to do, especially on 2CP as you mentioned. Maybe he was trying to wall ride or something. That's the thing though. Like, wall riding there just makes it more dangerous. So, like, let's, you know, we're in position. Let's say the Diva Bomb is like here on the floor, and it's exploding here, and the payload was about here. And let's say that Reinhardt doesn't cover us, and we start wall riding, and we wall ride up, and we just poke our nose over, then we're going to explode. Like, we don't want vertical height. We don't want any of that. I'll also say, like, on our rollouts, we should be wall riding. We should be wall riding here. There's no cost to it. It's dead easy to do. What you want to do is you just want to touch walls and then disengage from them. I actually might load up Overwatch just to demonstrate this. Battle.net. Open up Overwatch, because this is actually really, really important to understand. I've seen videos of like people with like pre-prepared rollouts that are like, you know, oh, on Temple of Anubis you can get from spawn to point A in like 6 seconds or something if you use this rollout and you do these wall rides perfectly. I don't expect everyone to go and do that or practice that. Like, it's cool to learn, but it's not super vital. But just getting into the habit of doing this is kind of important, which is why I want to why I'm even bothering doing this, because it is kind of vital. Create, doesn't really matter what map it is. Yeah, I think actually let's settings, maps, non-KR, save, not save, back, okay, start. So if you aren't aware of how this mechanic works, it's actually kind of important to understand. So Lucio got a buff a while ago to increase his mobility. Okay, so when you're on the floor, you move at a certain speed. You move at a speed of 100. When you wall ride, your speed actually doesn't change. So we're running. Let's find a nice wall. We're wall riding, and we're actually moving pretty much at the same speed as when we were on the floor. Okay? But what ends up happening is that when we disengage, you'll notice that I speed up. So the disengage gives you a speed boost for a couple of seconds. Now this is super important because if we want to get back into a fight as quickly as possible and we're coming from here, then if I just do this and just do like a very, very simple run, it takes a certain amount of time. I'm sure you can time it out if you really want. And then I'm back there. But if I add just a couple of taps onto the wall and just constantly bounce on and off the walls, I will carry a speed boost with me. So, you know, theoretically, when I'm leaving spawn, I should be touching this wall. When we come out, we tap this wall, we disengage, we move on, and like, this is why you see Lucios just do this and we'll just hop onto walls. That was a terrible example, but you get the friggin' idea. Of you just looking to engage and disengage from walls, and you should be constantly doing this. And the reason why is you gain speed. You're also like that much harder to hit, so if someone does push towards spawn, you're going to be much, much harder to finish off. But you just want to tap walls. And you're just carrying the speed boost constantly with you. You do want to be careful if you are trying to like taxi someone. Like, don't do this excessive wall riding if you're trying to taxi people. Because what ends up happening is you'll move ahead of them and then they will lose the taxi. You're sort of invalidating the point of doing the taxi. Otherwise, yeah, like, make sure you're doing this as much as possible. Because it does make a difference. Like, Lucio being at a fight is important, and so we want to get there as quickly as possible. Also, if you are using a speed boost and you jump off a wall, you carry that momentum quite nicely, which is pretty good. 30% speed boost. Wall skimming, I don't know if there's a specific term for it. If there is, then wall skimming is as good as one as any. It's common sense, but, you know, if we're not doing it, we should be doing it. Because there's no reason not to. You want to make sure you're not blocking yourself like I did there. It's pretty straightforward, but yeah, like make sure we are doing that shit, because it does matter. It does make a difference. Wall scrimming. That's what Team GB was doing earlier. True story about Team GB, by the way. Like, we had a scrim earlier on today that I was helping record. Silly Farah. Don't do that, Farah. But Team GB might actually be powered by banter. We were losing, like, pretty badly because we're playing with substitutes and stuff as well and working out some issues on the team. And then the team just started bantering, like, really, really fucking hard banter, non-stop. And my god, they suddenly turned on. Like, just shit-talking each other, shit-talking the enemy. Not in all chat or anything like that, but they were just... fucking, they went nuts. And then suddenly the play improved markedly. And it's like, Jesus, do we have an actual team powered by mad bants? It's crazy. Okay. So let's talk about this situation here. So, we're on the last point contest, and we're trying to keep ourselves alive. Final point, King's Row. Lucio can actually get a lot done here. Lucio can get a lot done here because there's a great big pit just next to the payload where people like to stand, where the soldier is now heading. We had about 4 opportunities during this to actually get these boops in. And we should be looking for these opportunities because they make a huge difference. Basically, you're killing someone in a single button press. There's no more high value play than we can do, really. So first and foremost, Farah should not be barraging the Bastion. There's just no point. Farah should just kill him. Use Tac Visor. I want to point out that there is a soldier like shooting us from behind. So, okay, we're doing damage to this. Or there's some, like, soldier's going to move out behind us. And we see soldier here. This should then become, like, our instant focus target. Like, we should, you know, in an ideal world, we should right-click now, and he might go in. Like, we should aim this way, and we should try and launch him into the pit. But we want to try and achieve, at the bare minimum, we want to be knocking people off the payload so it just keeps inching forward. And making it hard for them just to stay on the payload. So we see soldiers here, and, like, your brain at this point should be going, oh shit, Soldier 76 is right here next to me. We want to get on the inside of him, turn, and then this, like, when I was watching this, I was like, oh, he's going to do it, he's going to do it, he's going to boop him in. And then, like, we melee, and then we boop, but we booped, like, too close, and we flubbed it, and then we were trying to reposition again, then we position where we can't even get near the pit. So we go back. I think Winston knocks us there. We should be trying to get on the other side of this soldier as quickly as possible. Now, please, please, for the love of God, just set up the boop. And there we go, we set up the boot finally. And I think the reason why this first boot failed is pretty simple. We're rushing it. Where you've got to keep in mind, all this soldier is thinking about is like, man, I've got to be on the point, I've got to be on the point, I've got to stay on the point, I'm hugging the point, I'm hugging the point, I'm making sure they're contesting. We could take our time a little bit here. You know, just relax mentally, get in that Zen, get in that Lucio mindset. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Hold on to your hats, it's boop in time. Get into position. And then just get a good clean kill on the soldier. Like, that inner calm takes practice, and, you know, it's not something I could ever, you know, just tell you, oh yeah, just be calm and think. Be collected, because it's very easy for me to sit here and do that. If you do feel like panicky at times like this, like, oh my god, what am I doing? Oh god, everything's chaotic. Just try and find, like, that inner center. This is where VOD review helps a huge amount, because you'll actually see these opportunities. And you'll have these moments of just like, man, why don't I just do this? And then when it happens again, your brain will go, wait, I've seen this before, and humans are very good at doing this. Wait, I've seen this situation before. Maybe I should do something a bit different. And then you'll do something a bit different, and you'll get the kill on the soldier, and your team will go, oh shit, man, did you knock Soldier 76 off? Man, he was doing so much damage. He was killing everyone. Oh, we won because of that. Well done, Lucio. Okay, that will never happen, but you get the idea. It creates a situation where that can happen. Keep calm and boop on, exactly. Good Earthshadow, we should be speeding in. Like, this was actually a good initiation opportunity. So let's talk about initiation. When we're looking for an initiate, like, we're looking for some sort of opportunity. And honestly, like, this Amp It Up should have been a speed boost. Like, the D.Va's been demeched. This is our go moment. Like, this is a signal for our team to get in there and do something. D.Va's demeched. Okay, we can go now. We have an advantage. We have a lot of barrier. We have Zarya on high charge. We can actually go now. We can push this. I have speed boost ready. Swap to speed. Amp it up. Sound barrier. Go in. Reinhardt gets his Earth Shadow regardless. Reinhardt then survives. We push in and we win the fight cleanly. Rather than sort of trying to stay back here and trying to heal, we could have been going in here with the sound barrier. Instead, we're just sort of biding our time waiting. When we could be taking initiative. We could be gripping this game by the balls, and that's what we want to do as Lucio on attack. We want to be just get in there and kill shit. Team should be backing out now. Mercy's trying to call for a res, but Mercy's way out of position. This is not going to go well. Mercy, no. No, 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 no. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do... Oh, for fuck's sake. Mercy's. Oh, look. She rezzed one person and died. This is a good... This is like the textbook example of forcing. Like, this is the most forced res on the planet. I'm sorry, Urzu, if you're in chat. There's a good chance you might be. But this is clearly like someone has got the idea in their head of, hey, I am going to res this. I am going to res this. Okay, there's 2 people available. I've got to get all the way to Reinhardt to res this. Most of the team's going to be slowly respawning at this point. I've got to get there to res this. One person is there to be res now. I've got to run into the enemy team to pick up a Reinhardt who has no ultimate and is completely surrounded. My team is still respawning. Oh. 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 To quote the wisdom of one Ryan, Overwatch Central Horton, if you try and force a fart, you're going to shit the bed. That was shitting the bed.
Welcome to Overwatch, Monster.
Thank you, Joker27. Appreciate it. He isn't actually a Mercy man, he usually plays D.Va. Okay. But that was like... You know, I've talked about the idea, and I've been working on it a little bit now. The idea of doing a series on definitions. Forcing is one of those definitions I really want to nail, and I'm probably going to use that clip as just an example of a forced play. Because, my god, that was forced. We should be thinking about sound barrier here. Like, we have advantage, and this is where, like, sound barrier is super important. We have an advantage. What sound barrier is very good for is, like, think of, like, climbing. And, you know, you're going forward and it's like, you get your hand grip on, and you're going forward, and, oh, yeah, we got another hand grip. Okay, we got a hand grip. We're going to, I'm slipping. Okay, maybe we got this. Like, every single step in a fight is like getting another grip and getting a bit higher and getting a bit higher and getting a bit higher. What sound barrier is it's like getting a piton or a piton and just like slamming it in, and boom, okay, now we're secure, and we got this thing that we can play around with. We are feeling safe, we can get away with doing stuff, you know, we're not slipping anymore, we are secured in place. And so we can actually go forward and do stuff with it. And so the team's like eked out this advantage. Okay, Zarya is dead, that's not great. Mercy's getting harassed as well, which is also like a sort of a bit of a concern. So Mercy's getting hunted down by the Winston. If we don't support this Mercy somehow, she's probably going to die. We can do that probably with a boot, but we're coming into overtime as well. It's the last fight, there's no reason to hold on to stuff. We have advantage, our team's seizing initiative. Let's just finish seizing initiative. Let's press Q, everyone's completely safe, no one's gonna die, we can do what we want, we can kill this Winston in free time. You can see a bunch of people are critical. Like, this should all be like signals of like, well, not press Q, press left shift apparently. Press left shift, secure the game for your team. The team does it anyway, but that was an instance where if the team didn't do it, and you have sound barrier at the end of the game, your team turns around and goes, why didn't you sound barrier? You could have really needed it.
So that happens to me all the time. Like, I'll sack myself for the cat, and then it's like, we cap.
So yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I'm in spawn.
Are Lucio rollouts? Is that really a subreddit?
Like, oh, you guys are all grouped up. I'm not there.
To go and collect a bunch of them, just shove it in a video. I'm sure there's videos that exist, but I can make some. Yeah, that was just like, to me, when I was watching this, I was just like, use the ultimate, use the ultimate. It's the last fight. Please, just use the ultimate. Win it for your team. You can do that right here, right now. Okay, we're going to move on now No more Lucio. We're moving to the defensive Zenyatta, which is I find this kind of an interesting choice. I kind of like it though. Because, you know, you don't need to move quite as much. We do have a Mei, honestly, like, we'll be fine. If we're running, like, a Mei especially, sticking on Lucio is not too bad, because if you think about, like, Mei's weaknesses is short range and, like, lack of mobility herself. So you sort of offset that weakness. Otherwise, like, the Zen, it's okay. We have 2 good defensive ultimates we can play around with. We can do a lot of good damage. We have some good sniping potential in terms of, like, we put Discord Orb on a Pharah, for example. We kill the Pharah. We're going to be talking about that a lot. Spoiler. And, yeah, you know, we can play around with this. When will Team GB be playing in the World Cup? 2 weeks' time, I think. A little bit more than 2 weeks in Burbank. 17th, I think. So, actually about a month's time. In Burbank, California. We're in the last set of groups to play. I'm looking forward to it though. Like the guys we got are really, like, we have a lot of good talent and they're really, really fun guys to just watch play. We play a really cool style as well, which I like. It will be a joy to watch if it works, and it'll be really, really cool. Hopefully it all works out. Okay, we're getting set up. I'm fine with us starting here. Just be very careful. Don't. Okay. I was fine with us standing in this back corner. I am not fine with us being here. Stepping out here is suicide. There are many, many teams on this planet that love to put a Widowmaker up here. And the Widowmaker will be perfectly fine just staying back here and going boom, headshot, and then boom, dick shot apparently. There's a good chance that we just die doing this. There is no reason for us to actually be poking out this far. And you notice, like, where we were, we have a view of the choke. Okay, we can see the choke. We can see most of our team. Meanwhile, the enemy team has a hard time seeing us. We also have, like, a lot of safety where we can step back and we can get into this area here. We can move this way and we can hide away this way. But we have a lot of safety here. We can drop down. We can do a lot of things. When we step out to where we end up, our sightlines get worse. So I'm fine with us nipping in here, putting a healing orb on this guy. Sure, fair enough. Stepping out here, though, to me is a big mistake. Because we can see less, and we are way more visible. Like, we are not safe here. Junkrat's diving in. There should be a Discord on this guy. Good job. Missed a lot of shots there. We shouldn't be missing those shots. Let's take a close look at the aim. Like, super close look. Let's get close. Let's get close. In depth. In depth. I just want to see, like, where the crosshair is relative to the Winston. So first things first, like, if you see a Winston jump in like this, just put a Discord orb on him. Especially if he's like, especially if they're running a fucking Junkrat and like have a Reinhardt back here for some reason. This Winston is free. This is what we call in the technical community as free as fuck. Yeah. So just get the Discord orb on him. Good. So we shoot under him, then we shoot over him, we shoot in front of him, we shoot everything but the Winston. Feels pretty bad, man. What I would say is, again, this is like another instance of just relax, calm down. What you could find that will work better, just especially while training, is, and before this didn't play many FPS games, it's fair enough, like, this is not like to go, oh, look at this terrible aim. This is more like, okay, like, I need to look at it slowly just to see, you know, what we're doing. And it looks like, to me, this is what I would call over-aim, where, like, we're moving the crosshair a bit too much. So, honestly, like, this first shot's kind of the right idea. You're expecting, like, what are we expecting out of this Winston? Well, he's jumped in, and then he's going to run towards the team. And then at some point, he's going to probably try and move back and bounce away. With Winston's, the advice I would give is just try and aim for, like, the leading edge. I mean, this works on a lot of heroes, but especially on, like, big targets like Winston. So that if he doesn't move, you're probably going to shoot him. If he does move forward, you're definitely going to shoot him. And then, honestly, what I recommend in this instance is just click rather than hold down. Like, this looks like you're holding down. Just click your shots out one by one. And that way, you're sort of thinking of each individual orb, rather than, like, oh, I'm trying to put a stream of damage on him. It's more like, oh, I'm just trying to land these individual shots. And that works a lot better. Just, at least for me, it works better in my brain. I don't know if it's working, I don't know how it works elsewise. He's jumping off the platform, which is messing with his aim, and he's overcompensating. say like the platform dismount is honestly I'm fine with. And yeah, there's an overcompensation as we land. It's a bit of a shame. Because the Winston's jumping around. But like 1 or 2 orbs could be the difference between like this Mercy could have died. Like if a grenade hits Mercy and then the Winston hits Mercy, she could have died there. She might still die to that grenade. Feels pretty bad, man. We definitely want to be pulling back, just tucking into the safety of our team. As Zenyatta, we are very, very vulnerable. And so this is why I was happy to see the dismount here, because what could very easily happen is while the team's all fighting here, so like right now we have like a Reinhardt in the back of their team, they have a Winston in the back of ours. Let's say that this Reinhardt, they just ignore it or they just kill it super fast somehow, and then they push in. Well, what's the first thing they're going to kill? Spoiler, it's us. So we don't want to be here anymore, especially. Like, I do not like this position at all. We should be either, up here or like over here, not in that middle area. Zenyatta's a juicy kill. You are juicy. The enemy team wants to kill you. We should put a healing orb on Mercy here. Actually, she'll take care of herself. Although I'd still say top her up, just to be certain. The reason why I say that is because if Mercy dies, you guys have problems. Like Reinhardt has his barrier, and he's getting healed by Mercy. I would just top Mercy up for like a second, and then go back onto the Reinhardt. May kind of... Get an orb on him. Feels bad, man. Good Discord orb on the Reinhardt. We should probably be putting our heal orb on the Zarya as well at this point. Like, I like the Discord. Once he does this, we should be, like, now our priorities shift. Because, like, this is just easy damage for us. Like, this is free as fuck damage. And we can get him nice and low. Once this barrier is up, there is no way on God's green earth that we reposition behind him in, like, any kind of good, crisp time. And during the time that we use to reposition, we could die, Zarya could die, a number of things could happen. So this is where we're like reassessing priorities, and like, you know, if I be super, super nitpicky, and it's like, what is the most correct play to do right now? Well, we're not going to kill Reinhardt by whittling down his barrier here, are we? We're going to... The best thing we could do is be moving this way, while putting an Orb of Harmony on Zarya, and then when we get into Reinhardt, then he's going to drop his barrier and we're going to kill him. That to me will be the optimal play here. Reinhardt comes in, gets the kill. That Zarya still needs healing. Okay, we need Mercy to come out of the orb, the bubble. She doesn't. We have Zarya healed up, okay. And they're starting to advance onto the point. We want to get out of this corner. I'm not a big fan of being in this corner. This is why, because now we're isolated in this corner. Where would I say safer? Literally 2 steps to the right and we use the phone box. I'd say the phone box is a lot safer. I don't like this corner primarily because you think about like the terrain we're in, and there's a Junkrat just stood here. If the Junkrat paid any split second of attention, we are literally in like a fucking basketball or like a goal, you know? He just bounces grenades into this corner and we die. The phone booth gives us safety. We can push outward towards where the rest of our team is. We can push inwards if we need to. We have choices. In this instance, we're lucky the Winston jumps behind us, because if he jumped in front of us and just pushed us into this corridor, we are dead without any chance of help. We'll force out onto the point and we end up dying. Feels bad, man. May needs to stall. This was fucking spectacular. Just slow-mo this while I have a slap of coffee. I've no, like, when I first watched this, I had to rewatch this a couple of times to figure out exactly what the fuck happened. Junkrat is currently ulting here, okay? May wall goes up. Junkrat blows up the May wall. And does absolutely goddamn nothing. Like, I was expecting the Reinhardt to die, and if, you know, I was looking like, did the tire get pushed through the wall? But no, you can see Reinhardt barely takes any damage. Like, Reinhardt takes nothing. So I think that's just something else hitting him. Like, that's the fire strike hitting. And the wall blocks the tire. It's like the god tier wall. This is the Great Wall of China, clearly. Jesus. Just beautiful, beautiful. And Kablooey. Kablooey even has a moment. A well-deserved moment. Just a moment. Trump approves. The thing is, Trump's never going to build a wall, so...
I'm 85% shatter.
It's the imaginary wall in Trump's head. Molly comes in with the perfect emote. Is that one of Moon's? Yeah, that's one of Moon's. If that's not called Mago? Oh, no it isn't. It's not called... you could go with a Mago. I would go with a Mago. A Magao? A Mago? Not sure how you pronounce the word. I've only ever seen it written. It's strange. Top 10 anime walls. And also Moon Sub stands game, exactly. Moon Subs, you. Actually, I quite like Moon. He runs a good stream. And he has good emotes, so I'm kind of happy that spammed. If I see that fucking Widowmaker face one more time on a tournament, I'm gonna flip. Okay, with the spamming here, what I would say is, like, in situations like this, just be very, very aware of, like, incoming damage. So now we see damage incoming, now we want to tuck in. Like, now we want to be very careful with our positioning. Because if we die and we have transcendence, that's bad. When they start getting around here, this is when we can start doing a lot of work. Because you can see the Reinhardt is going to push around this way, and the wall is steadily going to, the Reinhardt barrier is steadily going to be more and more visible. As we can do, we can just do constant chip damage to it, and just peel back, while never being really threatened by anything. So as long as we're putting damage into this barrier, it's all good. Sparks fucks up, or Sparks was jumping at the time. This is why Reinhardt's... No, he just fucked up, I think. I think this is an instance where he's decided to drop the barrier for some godforsaken reason, and the Reinhardt's just had perfect perfect timing. This is a good instance for trans. What makes me say that? What makes me say this is a good instance for trans? And this trans is way too late. So, this Reinhardt's actually ended up out of position slightly. He goes for a fire strike. He might be going for an ult himself. He might be, I'm not sure what he's doing. He's gone for something and it's backfired. Like, this Reinhardt, this should have just gone into a barrier. Why do I think this is a good moment to trance? Because right now their team is scrambling to catch up to their Reinhardt. Their Reinhardt's actually managed to get ahead. And, like, even though we didn't have a clear view of it, it's not too hard to interpret sort of the Reinhardt's positioning. So this is the corner we're playing around. Their Reinhardt's sort of here, and I think there's like one person here, and then there's like 3 or 2 people back here, sort of towards the point, and then the rest of their team is just elsewhere. So their Reinhardt gets this Earth Shatter and then charges in. And meanwhile, their team's now scrambling to catch up. A charge alone is not enough to kill the Reinhardt. And you notice we land, and then Reinhardt dies. The swing comes in to connect, and I think the Genji, like the Genji's managed to reposition to catch up and get some shots in. You notice Mercy's healing the Rein. If we get the transfer fast enough, there's actually a chance that we save this guy. That we put him over the damage requirement needed to finish him off. And we still have a Reinhardt. But that had to be instantaneous. So what I recommend is, if you're in a situation like this, pay very close attention to who gets pinned, and like how the enemy team is following up, and if they're following up well. Like, the Winston's rushing in to try and catch up, but he's not in position. The Genji's managing to do damage, but there's nothing else really doing damage here just yet. So we have a chance now to counter-initiate, because the Reinhardt's out of position, the Winston's used his leap, so he's technically out of position. If we trance, and if the Reinhardt survives, we can just push in. And honestly, we should be okay. What I'd say now is, if the Mercy communicates, and like the reason why this trance is late is that Reinhardt's already dead. You notice that we have to use res just to pick the Reinhardt back up, just to get back into this fight. May gets a beautiful freeze. The Winston goes nuts. This shouldn't be too big of a problem for us. We just burn it down. We have a May as well to slow it. Feels good, man. And we should be okay. Blizzard, I'd say, is a bit excessive. You guys were already winning. We needed the orb on that Reinhardt a little bit quicker. This is stupid by their Genji. Good stuff. Nice and calm, collected. Like, no real panic there. So far, that's putting it on the Zarya, but then, like, you got to realize that this area, Mercy's on the Zarya, and Reinhardt's charging forward. We need it on this Reinhardt. Probably wouldn't have mattered, but just look for who's about to take damage. Look for who's the most far, like, if someone's far forward and they're low on hit points, they need an orb. Genji throws it away, and I like this. Like, when I was watching this, I really liked this. This was just nice and calm. We're not panicking. We're not, like, mouse is going fucking everywhere. It's just, we've seen Genji deflecting. We know we have a couple of seconds, so let's just take our time with a shot, aim, fire. He's dead. Nice. Very, very nice.
It was Winston. You could hear him jump.
People are mentioning Discord callouts. I'll talk about that in a second. I'll talk about that at the end, actually, like, because it's People sort of comment on this when I play Zen, that I have a very soothing Zenyatta voice. It's part of why I like playing Zen, because you're basically doing shot calling without really doing anything, or anything intensive. So with the Pharah as well, like I want to point this out now, as the Pharah is going to become increasingly obnoxious. In terms of orb priority, Pharah, this target right here, that's being highlighted helpfully by the screen, this Pharah is #1 prio. Aside from, like, if the monkey jumps in, if the Winston just jumps in, super aggro, then put it on him. Otherwise, this Pharah should have the orb. When Pharah is orbed, she is forced onto the back foot. She has to be very careful about her positioning. If we have a soldier, it's very easy for the soldier to get the kill. I think we end up with a soldier later. Might be even swapping off the main now. If our Pharah hits them, it's going to do a shitload of damage, and we can also add fire support. It also means that we know where the Pharah is pretty much at all times, which is super useful, because especially on this point, Pharahs love going up and over this building and then dropping down and barraging on the back, so knowing where Pharah is also just super, super useful. So we get the orb on, and honestly, we should be just trying to keep the orb on this Pharah. So we know that she's going up this way. Like, this, honestly, I would be fine with us just poking out, trying to get the orb back, or just putting it on this monkey. So at this moment, put it on the monkey. Good stuff. This is definitely one you call out. You notice he almost dies. This is also another good instance to trance, I'd say. On the bounce back, on the counter engage. And the reason why is, like, you guys are not counter engaging, and there's a lot of danger happening right now. Like, we can see grenades spamming, and we can hear Pharahs above us. So we know that there's a damage threat pretty much on top of us. You might just barrage. Reinhardt's on no hit points. And we are looking to get some kind of counter engage off the back of this, just to make this res really count. So sort of knowing all this, like, my instincts when I was watching this were literally going trance, like, you know, trance like it's fucking Holland in the 90s. This is what you want at this point. And then with the Earth Shatter, you see all these people on critical health? They wouldn't be on critical health, and you'd be winning this fight. I'd also say right now your team really needs a diva. Running Pharah Junkrat, you really want something to counter that spam. Good stuff, Apricots. Perfect. Perfect. That's techno, not trance, true. It was trance in Holland in the early 2000s, though. And then DJ Tiesto and all that shit. Feels pretty good, man. Fine with the Discord orbs. Spot the Pharah, Discord Pharah. Needs to be snappier. Has to be super snappy. You have a soldier as well. And like, if soldiers just like, if they don't run pharmacy, and you're discording the Pharah every time she pokes forward, and even if they are running pharmacy, like, this is crucial. Because otherwise, she's just not going to die. Healing orb, discord that Pharah. Discord that Pharah. Just put it on the Pharah and keep it on the Pharah. Pharah's not discorded, she's gone up and above. Like, we should be paying attention quite a lot to this Pharah. Like, we saw her go up. We can see the rockets coming in. We know where she is. She does go down, but she could have gone down faster. Feels bad, man. Discord that Pharah. Trust me, it's worth doing. Could you do Ana coaching but with a pro player? E.g. what the player might be thinking. Ah, you mean like a VOD review of a pro? At some point, sure. We could even talk to Boombox, and I can try and get maybe Boombox and me to just talk over someone's VOD. Could be fun. Depends if he's up for it. Good shot on the Pharah. Like, this is what we want to be doing. You see how quickly she goes down if we do this shit? And people just focus her. Like, Pharah lands a shot, we land a shot, she dies. And even if she had the Mercy pocketing her, she can't do shit here. Good stuff. Like, this is all fine. Let's see what we can do. And now we just want to sort of reset, try and heal people up, play a little bit careful. Fine with us just spamming this. We should be discording that monkey. So let's talk about Winston. Winston is very, very high prio for Discord orbs. It just makes him super vulnerable. Like, Winston, I've explained this on, like, coaching the many, on other heroes for coaching the many, when I coach the many for Winston. Like, when you're playing Winston, you want to be thinking in terms of, like, time to kill. How long does it take to kill someone? It's usually about 4 seconds, or like 3.733 repeating, of course, seconds, or some shit like that, to kill a 200 hit point hero. So Winston has to be kind of thinking, you know, if he's diving on someone, he wants to kill them, he's thinking, okay, I need X amount of time. I need 4 seconds of time. if you put a disc order on him, you've cut that down. You cut down the time he has by 1/3 because he's going to take 33% more damage. So it's very fucking important to get that done. Or it might be 30% now. I'm not sure if Zenyatta orb has changed. I'm pretty sure it's 33, but it might be 30. It might even be 25, although I don't think so. So Winston jumps in. He has disc orb on him. He can't do much. When you are watching Winston's, like you can see, he jumps. There is nothing stopping. Well, there's a little bit stopping us. Like we're a little bit scared. We should just be like the keyboard mouse movements we should be doing is we should be moving back behind the payload and turning our camera up. Because Winston's only going to drop the bubble when he lands. So if we can catch him in the air, it's the easiest time to catch the Winston. After that, we have to wait for him to come out of his bubble, or we have to break the bubble, which is a little bit trickier. And so we kind of do the right thing by peeling back and trying to find where the Winston is, but we should be trying to catch that in the air. Because if we catch that in the air, all this damage happening now is just that little bit higher. And Winston gets away with a sliver of hit points, he might be dead. He does get killed in the end, but he could be dead that little bit faster, the team could be bouncing back. Good. Get the discord back on the Farah. Soldier kills her, no problem. Bish bash bosh. Simple, simple, simple. As a Winston main, I completely disagree with OneAmongstMany. Do not listen to this man, as he's crazy. Keep discording other people, thank you. I sense bias in that. I sense a bias there. Honestly, my heart skipped to me. It's like, as a Winston main, I actually really disagree. You should be doing this and not... And it's like, oh, wait, I see what he's doing there. You should be discording this, Winston. There we go. And, like, you see this matchup over here? Like, this is actually kind of a nice example. It's not the greatest example in the world, but it's kind of important. Like, let's say the soldier is a McCree, because if it's soldier, it's a bit different. Or let's say soldier doesn't have his biotic field. If he has biotic field, it's a bit different. But let's say he doesn't have his biotic field. In a normal one-on-one between Winston and most 200 hit point heroes, the Winston will inevitably kind of win, especially if he has barrier to play around with. He just kills them before the enemy can get through all of his hit points, effectively. When you put your Harmony Orb on someone and the Discord Orb on the Winston, then the Winston can't do that anymore. It takes so long to kill the person's doing so much more damage to them that he cannot stay there and fight them anymore. With Soldier, it's even more true because if he puts the healing field under him, he's taking a shitload of heal per second, and so he will not die to the Winston. So you're basically guaranteed that the Soldier survives and that the Winston won't die, as long as other focus doesn't come in. Yeah, we should be feeling okay. We should be thinking about our team at the moment. This should be discorded as well. But this was a trance opportunity. So when this happens, like this is the enemy team engaging, by the way. Hammer down goes in, it whiffs, and then he charges. This is an engage, and honestly, you'll be fine shifting the discord to this guy now, just to put the damage on him. But what we should also be doing is like take a second when he lands, turn, and check what's happening to your team. Because your team right now, I guarantee, is getting fucked. And the reason why I know your team is getting fucked is because I watched the kill feed about 4 seconds from now. Where Riptide didn't kill stuff. Oh, we got the mech, but then everyone just dies. Imagine if we had trance. Oh wait, we do have trance. That was apparently a perfectly timed Zenyatta ult by Kablooey. I completely disagree. We should be Harmony Orbing this guy. Feels bad, man. I don't think it was on him. Yeah, we're not actually healing. It's poor Sparks. Poor Sparks. Down goes Sparks. We should be put the Harmony Orb on the Farah, so she's safe. I don't think Harmony Orb isn't on anything. This is bad. Put it on the Mercy. Good stuff. Okay, we kept her cool there at least. Did Reinhardt jump over the shadow? I don't think so. Let's go all the way back and check. There it is. The barrier came up just in time, I think. Otherwise it would have hit us. I think Diva was just to the left of it. That soldier goes down, and yeah. Like that soldier was going, Zenyatta, Zenyatta, please man, heal me man, and then we die. That shit takes too long to react to such an important thing, I feel. But as long as you're used to the cooldown, like left shift is pinky finger anyway. Let's see, Q for me is ring finger, left shift is pinky. And honestly, like the way I put my hand on the keyboard, you know, W A D, left shift most of the time. So left shift is fine, I think. Otherwise, like this looks okay. Right, this bounce back now is fine. The Winston fucked up by not finishing us off. Like, he went indecisive and turned around for some reason. There's Zenyatta goes fucking crazy. We should be shooting the target we put the Discord orb on. So, someone's shadowed over there. Like, this is like, look at me! I'm a free kill! I'm a free kill! Please kill me! Kablooey just stole your kill! Yeah, you should have had that. Oh, Jesus. It feels kind of bad, man. Lock in the reload. I like how we get dragged into the charge as well. Feels pretty bad, man. Technically, thumb. You play left-handed? Okay, is it right? Is it still left shift then? You could do it. I have no idea how you play left-handed, to be honest. Do you use IJKL? And then maybe use right shift? Or you can even use like O::K and L. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to understand. Or you just have a mirrored keyboard. Want to be very careful about our positioning here. Let's just, like, I know we're desperate to heal the D.Va, which is fair enough. Part of this is D.Va's own fucking fault for not coming to the edge. Actually, one of my favorite YouTube videos has a perfect sound clip. So I'm going to go find that because it's beautiful. And I think they even isolated the audio and you can download it if you super want. Widowmaker. What is it? What's the song called? Oh god. You find it. There we go. Bonjour from the other side. Beautiful fucking bit of singing, but in there, and maybe there is a clip of it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna find it. Let's see. This sound clip just like sums up the pain of every Zenyatta player and every Mercy player. Let's see. I don't want to like do it too much because I don't want to steal someone else's work. Oh god damn it! I can't find the specific moment. It feels pretty bad. I will say I'm not a big fan of the art style of this. I'm just going to bring it up so you guys can see. It's a pretty good channel though, like a bunch of amateur voice actors doing dubs of Overwatch. There we go. Come to the fucking ledge then! It's just so fucking important.
I require healing. Come to the fucking ledge then!
If you are low on hit points and you have a Mercy and a Zenyatta especially, come to the effing ledge, please. You stand in the middle of a high ground area and die, that's your own fucking fault. Yeah. That's just positioning 101. If you want support from your team, stand on the ledge with your back to the team. Yeah. When we're here, like, make sure that we are not standing, you know, if you think about enemy team sightlines, how can the enemy team shoot at us? Like here and here, all this area is danger. We want to either be near this wall or near the payload, and I recommend being near this wall, just so we establish the L shape of truth. You've seen me talk about this a lot before if you watched this before, and watched me talk about Anna. L shapes, pretty fucking important. Enemy team's here, we are here, our team is here. Enemy team has no clear line of sight to us. Only a good thing. In this instance, it's a bit sort of tighter because there's a door here on this side, but if we just, you know, if we hang around this X, pretty good. Either pet peeve number 47, yeah. If you just stand with your back to a ledge and supports can funnel health into you, you'll be way stronger than standing or trying to evade. Actually, I haven't watched all the way to the end of this, so I hadn't seen that before, but that's so unfortunate for the D.Va. Very nicely done by us. I like the Discord orb on the Mercy, and then D.Va just fucking walks into a two-shot. Oh! Oh! Your Discord, good. So, let's get our orbs out there. Let's not stand in front of the Reinhardt. So our objective for the next fight, like, this is where, you know, it's rubber hits the road time, 42 seconds, probably one fight left in it. We want to wait for their initiate, transcendence, and just block as much of their shit as possible. If they use ultimates, great, then we just stop it. Whatever you do, just make sure you don't die. He died, we died. You see this little triangle with an X on it? It's a pretty good position to stop. Yeah. The thing you gotta understand about Reinhardt's is that they move and they do stupid shit like drop the barrier for no reason. This is also why like the Reinhardt should not be standing in front of the payload. The Reinhardt should be behind the payload or around this corner, and they shouldn't be this close to the team basically, because otherwise they're just taking extra barrier damage where they could be using the payload as cover, and they could be using this wall as cover or this wall as cover. Like they have way better position available to them. Feels pretty bad, man.
I saw that trap right as I landed.
You don't die, you win. Exactly. I'm a good coach. It's true though, because now we could have stopped so much coming in. We still have a window. Now it's like double fucking important that we don't die. Honestly, my advice, orb the far up, move here. Seriously. Do not run out into the middle. Whatever you do, do not run out into the middle. Like, you see how quickly this Farah died? We can't move like that, Farah. We have a moment. Mercy's dead. Like, this is people just not... This is people rushing. This is people just trying to sprint out and try and do something when there is time. There is time to actually take a moment and breathe. So we've had a Sparks that was a fire strike and Junkrat spam. It was, but you could have blocked the Junkrat spam. And especially if the Reinhardt was close to the Junkrat spam, it's less of a problem. Yeah. Like, this hurts to watch, because, like, the payload isn't actually close to the end here. And even if it does get close to the end, then we can emergency trance and just stand on it and contest it for a couple of seconds. Like, we have options. The worst thing that could happen right now is that we die. Because if we die, we're probably not going to get back onto the point in time. And that sucks. That sucks a Rooney. So we're on 0-0. Contesting. And honestly, like, when we hit this corner, we should probably just trance. France, get out. May! Fuck! May! We should be moving behind the payload here. Yep, this is where we want to be. Let's discord. We should be discording this guy. He'd be dead already. Heal orb on the Reinhardt. Probably moved it just to, like, heal on the Reinhardt's fine. And then now we should probably be moving on to Kablooey. Onto the May. We should be killing this Reinhardt off, not... Like, ignore the fucking Diva. Let's kill the Reinhardt first. He's still alive. We were in a position where we could have killed him. We should kill him. What SR is this guy? 2.5. 2.4, 2.5. Why does he charge? I don't know why he charged. The Reinhardt shouldn't have charged either. Just to be nitpicky. Like, this is stall mode. Actually, I like the Lucio switch here. Just for reference, if you are a Reinhardt player, like, this is stall mode. The idea is you want to have as many hit points as possible on the payload. This is a barrier with over 1,000 hit points on it. That could be on the payload. I understand the urge for an instantaneous kill, but this charge never going to do much of anything. And you're just buying time for your team to come and reinforce. I think he managed to get the Junkrat, maybe. Maybe that was earlier. Yeah, that would have been nice. I like the Lucio swap here. Just gets us back to the point that little bit quicker. I would prefer we're not watching the kill cam because we don't need to. Just watch the Farah. They get a good res. Bad news for us. This is where we definitely want to be doing like the wall skimming. We could be here a second or two earlier. We could be looking for that big fat juicy boop. Give me a big juicy boop. That's not a bad. That's actually a lovely boop. Oh, the juiciest boop. Let's get the Diva in as well. Oh, so close. Oh, the fucking pit the Mercy back out. Feels bad, man. Feels pretty bad, man. We almost got the Mercy. The Diva went and saved him.
Nah, it's my bad. I did 2 res point, like right when they were coming around the bend, and I got murked.
So the Mercy's saying that it was their bad. It was also a little bit of our bad as well. We had a transcendence that we didn't manage to use at a proper time when the enemy team were clearly engaged, and we died too early. We were out of position, and we died for it. Diva was not saving that Mercy. Diva went and saved the Mercy regardless. Mercy dashed up to her. Okay, we're back on the Lucio. I'm okay with this. Especially, yeah, if we're running the Reaper, we definitely want the Lucio. Just for the speed, especially if we're going to run Pharmacy as well. Like, Lucio Zen would also be fine. in my mind, although not with a Reinhardt maybe. With a Winston Lucio, Zen works a lot better. But with the pharmacy, okay. You definitely want speed on this kind of attack. I don't like the Zarya at all. I've mentioned this before and I'll mention it again. You have 1 minute to take a point and then try and push as far as possible. Chances are that you are maybe, like, at best, the usual situation is you take the point and then you might get it to the first corner on the second point. So, like, you know, the super best case is you cap the point and then you push it all the way to the end. Like, that happens sometimes. In which case, Zarya is great, but in many instances, it's like you will get a push, you might not win that push, and then you'll get a second push and you'll take the point, and then maybe push the payload a little bit further, which is sort of the common thing that happens. The issue with Zarya is that during that time, she takes like 2 minutes to build an ultimate. You don't have 2 minutes. D.Va will give you way more instantaneous power out the box, like she's just stronger, disregarding ultimates, and even though she won't get her ultimate either, probably, her ultimate matters a lot less. Defense matrix matters a lot more. If you're half blue, you get great. Yeah, okay. If you're half blue, then sure. If you're cafe, if you are crew, sure. But we aren't these people. Just this is actually this will be a good opportunity to just amp heal and then swap to speed. And you guys should have checked this. Just swap to heal, amp. Like, you don't have time to stand here and wait. We've already lost 5 seconds. We have a Symmetra as well. Symmetra gives us a new priority. When we push through this, we want to make sure that we are amped. So we want to amp and push, and then the first thing we do... Okay, almost on highlighted mode for some reason. Reinhardt pushes through, okay? Reinhardt will take position and block the fountain. Reinhardt will be being hit by a shitload of turrets. As Reinhardt's going through, we want to follow, turn around, clear off any fucking turrets. There is no more high-value thing that we could be doing as Lucio than killing turrets. We are very, very well set to do it. See this Reinhardt's hesitating? Swap to speed, speed boost, go in, right-click one side, left-click down the other. Right-click this side. Reinhardt, you should say, Reinhardt, stop being a massive goddamn big girl's blouse. Get your freaking ass in there. I'm going to clear these turrets. Like, we know where the turrets are. We can clear them. So we get that side. Okay, we should be getting the other side. And your team should be pushing through. Like, the worst thing you can do is just stay in this choke point. So we're actually doing the right motion. The rest of the team is not. Sort of coming off the back of being too slow. Could be wall skimming just to get movement speed. And honestly, we should come around this corner with height. Good stuff. Probably swap to speed there just to make sure Reaper gets in range. Swap to heal. Good. Healing, 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 healing. Ryan's on his own. Speed. Get away from that. Feels bad, man. Reaper's in a good position though. Could be getting something done. I think they just put the teleporter down in the statue. Yes, they did. Reaper's shooting at it, but he's running into turrets. Going to die. Feels bad, man. That was the most PG sentence I've ever heard. I wanted to call him a huge vagina as well, but I've said this before and I said it again. I'm not sure what's got it into my head that the vagina is somehow a cowardly organ. Because it isn't. It endures childbirth and regularly takes a pounding. Especially when I'm around. Yeah, so... I think it's a little bit unjust to call people stop being a huge vagina and get in there. Big girl's blouse, however. That works. Okay. Feels bad, man. That was pretty much just the team not pushing in properly. So yeah. Like, you can't stay in that choke point. If you're playing Reinhardt on King's Row and you walk forward and you stop in the choke, I hate you. I hate you. Push through, and if they have a Symmetra, like, you tell your team, okay, I'm going to push in, Lucio, clear the fucking turrets. And if you walk in and no one clears the turrets and you die, you go, team, why didn't you kill the turrets? And then the team goes, well, I was busy shooting the enemy. And you go, well, the turrets killed me and we lost. And then you go, which is more important, you shooting the enemy Reinhardt's barrier or me surviving? Me surviving. And then the teammate goes, well, you just fucking shoot them, why don't you step back? And then you go, because we can't step back because we're in the choke point and we have 1 minute to push it. Why am I debating this with you now? You're clearly a fucking moron. Bye. And then you move on to the next game and play another game. If you don't speed boost the choke and kicks right, I hate you. That's also true. Back on the Zen. Actually, looking at this team comp, Anna would also be fucking superb. You've got like a Reaper who's not that hard to heal, is pretty predictable in his positioning. May, very easy to heal. Reinhardt, easy to heal. D.Va, easy to heal. This would actually be a really nice Ana match as well.
Actually, yeah, that'll be a little bit safer.
And if you nano boost Reaper and he kills a couple of people, you win. Been a long coach in the menu, by the way, but it's a long VOD, so it works. See how aggressive they've gone? We should put the Discord onto the Mercy here, probably. I would prefer it on the Mercy. Put the orb on the D.Va, you can't die anymore. Good stuff. All that May, Discord, good stuff. Notice that she can't die anymore. Feels pretty good, man. Discord, nice. Clean, 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 clean. Discord. We're okay. Like, now we should be a little bit worried. Just keep that harmony on. Good. I like the fact that we're charging here. Very nice. Very, very nice. So this is slightly more advanced because it just takes that little bit of extra brain processing, but it's very important to be doing. Anytime you're not doing damage. Zenyatta was changed a while ago, so it used to be that Zenyatta would deal like, Zenyatta deals a set amount of DPS. I'm not exactly sure on the specific number anymore. But when you right click, you used to lose DPS effectively. The amount of time you charge, you basically release a burst of damage that wasn't exactly the same as taking or doing like constant left click damage. Now it's changed so that the time you spend right clicking, your release is equal or equivalent to just doing normal DPS if you release when you get full orbs. So you want to just continue doing the orb, like you want to be charging whenever you're out of line of sight to be efficient and doing consistent DPS. So anytime when we're in this situation, like we should just be holding right click, and you'll see me doing this on stream. Right click, and then when your orbs are charged, so one short, we could have had an extra orb, and that extra orb would have probably killed Mercy. Just case in point. When you release, if you release and kill someone, or you do a lot of damage, great. If there's no targets available, hit the melee button, the melee will cancel the charge, and you'll keep the ammo. So you're basically just constantly charge, peek, check. If there's nothing there, melee, hide again, charge, peek, damage, hide, charge, peek, nothing, melee, hide. That way you're safer, and you're dealing equivalent DPS. So it works quite nicely. You just got to sort of get used to getting that rhythm out. Let's say we definitely need to be putting our orb on the Reinhardt here, or just something. That feels pretty bad, man. It's sort of no good position for us, unfortunately. Our Mercy's also dead, isn't she? Reaper's cleaning up. Like, this is where Reaper thrives. Feels pretty good. Reaper gets a Death Blossom. Reaper just fills up the kill feed. Good job by Zarin. And the match ends in a draw. Are you sure you keep the ammo because it's when you lost it? You keep the ammo if you lose the ammo? You do lose the ammo. I actually didn't know that then. I thought you kept it. Even then, yeah, you don't reveal where you are, and you're just okay. So yeah, just keep sneaky.
It always shows your key to draw.
We gotta play the game. Is this when they just die to the Bastion for no good reason? Oh, that's a tasty boop. That's a tasty boop. Oh no, I think this is when we didn't sound barrier. When we should have sound barriered. So then you can see like us, like we got a couple of kills and then we end up by the point without sound barriering on the final fight when we had a sound barrier. We should fucking sound barrier. Also make green screen is speckling. It'll do that when the lighting goes dark, and I apologize for that. Do point it out when it happens. I actually can't see my OBS at the moment. So let me... we'll be moving on to questions. Now's a good time to start asking questions while I transition the screens. And yeah, I'll see you in the next part. Boom! Questions. Questions, questions, questions. Start asking them. Let's go.